We are 22S Radio, the next wave of K-Beach. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com, 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now, our World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And this is Beyond the Ropes. How was your weekend?
Oh, wow. I'm buried in homework at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, whoa, what was that
I
noise?
think I grabbed the mic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's happening?
Alright, so yeah.
I got
yeah.
3 groups.
You got 3 groups?
Yep, 3 different classes. Each have a group presentation at the end, and we're working on a paper together, and it's like, wow.
That sounds like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got some projects due in the coming weeks, so I'm with you with that. Some unfortunate news in the world of pro wrestling, especially yesterday. Last night, King Kong Bundy passed away at the age of 61 years old. King Kong Bundy, famous for his WrestleMania 2 match against the Immortal One, Hulk Hogan, inside a steel cage. So very unfortunate news. Again, 61 years old, which is pretty young. I don't think we know the cause of death so far. Checking it here. But yeah, so far no news. We can give a little bit of background of what he did in this industry. He got a start in wrestling in 1981, trained in the Monster Factory in New Jersey. He wrestled for Texas World Class Championship Wrestling and the American Wrestling Association before signing with the WWF in 1985. He was Hulk Hogan's first Monster opponent as they headlined WrestleMania 2 during the Los Angeles portion of the event. And he left the company in 1988, and he went into semi-retirement in the late 80s, but was brought back in the mid-90s as part of Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Corporation stable for a brief run in 1994 and 1995. His biggest feud in 1995 was against The Undertaker, culminating in that match at WrestleMania 11. He did some acting. He played Uncle Irwin on the 1987 episode of Married with Children, and years later appeared as himself for a wrestling-themed episode. He was apparently a really well-respected individual. Hurricane Helms, I believe this is how I found out about it. Hurricane Helms was the one that tweeted out, "Rest in peace, my friend. Thanks for your humor and your kindness," along with a picture he posted with him. Yeah, so really unfortunate situation, and our thoughts go out to him and his family. So we are currently on you now with the hashtag
Ask questions.
And you can always give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. Twitter, at EthanNB95, and at Rob Flores Media, correct?
Yeah.
And on YouTube, just search up Beyond the Ropes. Check out all 70-plus videos of our show. We've lost count, right? And you haven't posted any recent ones,
Not
right?
yet.
Not yet, so hopefully soon we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what episode we're on. But another unfortunate passing yesterday was Luke Perry. Luke Perry of Beverly Hills 90210 fame, as well as currently he was on the show Riverdale, passed away yesterday after suffering a stroke last Wednesday. He is connected to the wrestling business because his son, Jake Perry, aka Jungle Boy, has signed with All Elite Wrestling in January. He died Monday morning in St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank, California, and he was unfortunately never able to recover from the massive stroke last Wednesday. Yeah, it's very tragic. He was 52 years old, and the wrestling community definitely gave him a lot of respect and love, and it's really unfortunate. He was extremely young, so again, our thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to him. On some lighter news, guess who got into who is expected to go into the WWE Hall of Fame this year?
Tori, but how was it Tori and not Molly?
Yeah, so Tori Wilson was officially confirmed yesterday that she would be going into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2019 this April, joining the Honky Tonk Man and D-Generation X. Yeah, there was a little bit of a debate going on over social media about, you know, the list of women that should go in before her. Nevertheless, I think her connection with the company, her relationship is probably closer or better. She has appeared in both. She was in the first Women's Royal Rumble as well as the first Women's Pay-Per-View. But I am curious I'm curious as to why they chose her over like someone like Molly Holly, for instance.
Yeah.
And there's a few other women that probably should go in for her, but you know, they make some interesting decisions. Sometimes it's the person doesn't want to go in that year, or for whatever reason. Nevertheless, Tori Wilson started in WCW and signed with WWE in 2001. Her in-ring career, yeah, her in-ring, no.
It's okay, plenty of people, I guess, that's why they bought tickets, right?
Right. Her in-ring career ended in 2008 due to a back injury, but she was brought back last year for the Women's Royal Rumble as well as the Evolution pay-per-view in October. She told ESPNW, "This feels like a sweet closure. Since I retired, so many people have asked me, do you feel bad you never won a title?" That's actually interesting.
I mean, she was very popular, and I mean, didn't she? Okay, I don't know if it was the cover, but she was at least on the commercial of like even one of the video games. She was one of the biggest names out there, and one of the few that was on like Playboy.
Yeah. So continuing on with this quote, and I have always said no because I feel like I got the value, even though it would have been nice to win a title. But being inducted into the Hall of Fame feels like a championship belt to me because it makes me feel real appreciated. So again, as you mentioned, she was very popular.
Even Kelly got a belt then before her then.
Yeah, Kelly was the Divas champion. Yeah, it's surprising Tori never won a title, but again, as you mentioned, she was very popular for that era of women. And I think as part of the video package, they said that she was like the most downloaded superstar on WWE.com in like the early 2000s. So,
and I mean, her last run with Billy Gunn.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. She had an interesting career. There was a storyline with her father.
Oh, and, wow, that was really...
Yeah, it was a very dark storyline there, but...
Didn't they use her dad, like her actual dad for that one? Because then he died.
He died. I think he's still alive, but he died in the storyline. It was a very... It was a different era back then, but yeah, again, she was one of the most popular women and superstars during her time, so it's great to see her going in and looking forward to that.
She was one of the last few, I think, during that era where, like, because the women were trying to change the way that women were perceived back then, because back then it was more sexualized wrestling, where, like, they had, you know, pillow fights. They weren't really being valued for the actual in-ring skills.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, she was there during that era of, as you mentioned, and so it was just different times, and you know, some people maybe don't think she should get in or whatever. She still was involved in helping make the company and the brand a better, I guess, you know, a better brand, a better viewership. So good for her. Congratulations. Some MLW news. So I don't really know MLW, but it's a wrestling promotion.
Is it Cornette?
Yeah. Jim Cornette is set to make his debut for Major League Wrestling. I believe it already passed It was last Saturday's Intimidation Games, but he is set to be a commentator. So
I mean, he is entertaining to listen to.
he's definitely got an old school mind for the business.
Oh yeah.
He's not a big fan of a lot of what WWE and in general a lot of indie wrestlers are doing in the ring, but nevertheless he does have a mind. He is considered one of the greater talkers in that business, so it makes sense to put him on commentary for sure. So I don't know how it went, but if it did already happen, I think it might be this Saturday still. I don't know. But another wrestler has announced his departure from Impact Wrestling. Impact's just going downhill. Caleb Conley. Yeah, he wasn't really, when I was watching, he really wasn't used much. So he wasn't like a huge name, but
I heard Moose resigned.
yeah, a few people did resign actually, and as you mentioned that, Madison Rain has also rejoined the company because she was with Ring of Honor for a while. So the story goes that I guess she pitched to have the beautiful people join Ring of Honor, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky. Apparently, the Ring of Honor decision makers were for it, but they wanted them to turn on her eventually and have someone else join them. And Madison Rain didn't want that.
But I mean, for storyline purposes, doing that type of story, it's actually tailored for the audience to favor her. That you want to cheer the babyface, not the heel.
I think she just wanted to work with her friends, to be honest with you. So they said that it was amicable parting ways, but
But I mean, the beautiful people with just the two, like that's when it was cool though. And then
yeah, I mean, it had its moments when Madison was in it, but yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. When it first became a thing in TNA,
yeah, with the whole paper bags being put on
That's
people's
right.
faces.
Billy Gunn was in the group as well.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was.
He had the spray.
That's right. So, Madison Rain's back on Impact Wrestling. I honestly had no idea she was gone. She was gone for like, what, a year or two maybe? But she's back with Impact Wrestling. I think we should take our
Well, I'm
first...
barely about to put them on.
All right, no worries. We could do this one story on, unfortunately, another sad story, but it's popping up here. Earlier today, and by today I mean March 2nd, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race was revealed that he is dealing with lung cancer, which is really unfortunate news. Race's World League Wrestling issued a statement and said that Race would talk about his health issues when he is ready. Since that time, David Marquez of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood confirmed on Twitter that Race has been diagnosed with lung cancer. Broke news Friday night when Ric Flair talked about it during the Q&A alongside Hulk Hogan for Legends of the Ring in Atlantic City. Marquez added that the cancer is not terminal. He wrote, I've just spoke to Harley Race's family, and yes, he has been diagnosed with lung cancer, but it is not terminal. He is being treated and supervised by his doctor. He is still very active in the World League Wrestling and appreciates everyone's concerns. Race is still making appearances at independent shows and conventions. However, due to various health issues, he has been confined to a wheelchair in recent years. And we wish Harley Race the best and hopefully a speedy recovery.
He's had quite the life. I mean, well, he's had a car crash where he almost lost his leg. He won his first marriage. His wife died like 5 days later or 5 weeks later.
Yeah.
Wow. Like
it's a crazy life. And luckily he's still around, and again, we wish him a speedy recovery. So, you're almost ready here?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take it to a commercial break. And when we return, we're going to talk about someone who may or may not be leaving WWE. More when we get back on Beyond the Ropes.
Need a you have breakfast or lunch on the run? Visit Carl's Jr. in the USU, the little place with the big taste.
Every day, 40 kids are diagnosed with cancer in the U.S., and only 3 new treatments have been FDA approved since the 1970s. Wow, 30 years! That's where With Purpose comes in. With Purpose is a youth-led movement dedicated to making sure kids with cancer have access to safe and effective treatment options. We need more treatments for kids. They should have the chance to live the life they were given. For more information, visit facebook.com/withpurposelb.
What happened to bless the Lord? And why can't I listen to Beach Center?
Well, we switched hours. You can now listen to Bless the Lord at 2 p.m. And you can listen to Beach Center, of course, and gospel music at 1 p.m. So after you listen to some boring reports, come listen to Bless the Lord here on 22 West Radio and 22westmedia.com. Have some fun. Adios every Wednesday. Woo!
And we are back with Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And you can give us a like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. You can also join us currently on YouNow with the hashtag.
Ask questions.
And you can find our videos on YouTube. Just search up Beyond the Ropes or go to Rob Flores Media on YouTube and subscribe there. Ty Dillinger, formerly, or the wrestler formerly known as Ty Dillinger, has officially booked some dates. Now going by Sean Spears.
I think I'm at TV.
Oh my. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was someone named Spears, right?
Yes, I think. No, but I think it was Aries Spears. I think. But
Yeah, no.
I still think I'm at TV.
Yeah. Dillinger, now known again as Sean Spears, will be wrestling for Create a Pro Wrestling on 5/31, which is May 31st in Lynbrook, New York. Interesting fact, Create a Pro Wrestling is actually owned or co-owned by Kurt Hawkins. So,
What?
yeah, when Kurt Hawkins, it was shortly before he got released a few years ago, he and someone else made that pro wrestling school, and then he obviously did it full time when he was gone from WWE. So I don't know how much involvement he has in it now, but I think he's still involved in it. So
I mean, he's cool and professionally being buried, I guess.
hey, he's got a gimmick going on at least. He's been on TV. So again, Dillinger was released last week after requesting it from management, and he's already booking up dates. He has a Pro Wrestling Tees store. Just go to Pro Wrestling Tees and just, I guess, look up Sean Spears, or you can book him spearsbookings@gmail.com.
I mean, I think he was better off just calling himself Mr. 1010. I'm sure that wasn't copyrighted yet, right? Mr. 10?
Mr. 10. That is a terrible name.
Senor Diaz.
Who knows if he's going to keep that
'He'll
10.
go to AAA. Senor Diaz.
Oh my, Spanish?
Yeah.
Yes. That would be hilarious. A superstar, there's just been, is he going, is he staying? Do you know
Is
who
it
I'm talking
Randy?
about? No.
Oh, Dean.
Dean.
He's better off going.
You think he's better off going?
Yeah.
Alright, so this was yesterday. And there's a new updated, I guess, version today. But I'm gonna read yesterday's report. So over the weekend, this is from WrestlingNews.com. Over the weekend, we heard from 2 WWE sources who now believe that Dean Ambrose will sign a new contract to stay with the company. As we reported last week, Roman Reigns recently indicated to a fan at an autograph signing that he would work on keeping his friend in the company, and management was hoping that Reigns could convince Ambrose to stay. The babyface turn and talk of a renewed push has apparently swayed Ambrose's opinion. Brian Alvarez, I believe, who's with the Wrestling Observer, heard similar rumors about Ambrose. He said, "I don't know for sure, but the rumor this weekend is he is no longer leaving," Alvarez said on the Wrestling Observer Live. So that was yesterday's story. There is a new story that came up, I believe, this morning. And I'm going to pull it up as soon as I can find it right here. Okay, so here's a report.
Is it Meltzer?
Is it Meltzer? Yes. So from Meltzer, Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer, heard from backstage personnel apparently, and the word from them is that nothing has changed with Ambrose, and as of right now, he is still set on leaving the company. Interesting. So after Raw, we were told by a source that Vince McMahon was considering Ambrose versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and that would be Ambrose's last match with the company, unless he changes his mind.
I think it's too soon for Roman to get involved in a one-on-one with his health. It should be a tag team right now, Roman.
Well, speaking of tag team, the Shield is back. I don't know if you heard, the Shield is back, and they will be competing.
Instagram where he's all like pacing back and forth.
They will be competing this Sunday at Fastlane, and we have to give our predictions at the end of the show. So just remind me with that. There was an interesting note. The commentary team during this, I guess, Shield segment or after that, mentioned that Dean Ambrose was leaving, which led many people to speculate he changed his mind, and now they're maybe including it in the storyline that he's leaving. So it's interesting because WWE has never mentioned anyone's contract running out except for CM Punk, and he eventually re-signed with them. So it's interesting how they mentioned that he was leaving after WrestleMania. They mentioned it on commentary. So it's interesting. It's up in the air. I guess we'll find out. Apparently Ambrose was very happy to have Roman back.
I think the thing that makes it tricky is Renee's under contract.
Renee is under contract, and again, I think I mentioned it on the show before. I think it would be a big mistake for her to leave. I mean, she's doing commentary on Monday Night Raw. That's the biggest show in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, if she were to go follow Ambrose to, say, AEW, which people are speculating.
I mean, it lasted a little while after.
Yeah, she fulfilled her contract after Punk walked out. She fulfilled her contract and then she left. But I think this is different. I mean, Ambrose is leaving on good terms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not. You know, he's not walking out on the company. He's fulfilling his contract, and then he's just not resigning. So I think this is different. I think this definitely leaves the door open for him if he does leave for a comeback. And especially for Mae Young, 6th round, you know, I think he'd be more open to coming back if he does leave, but who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see over the next 6 weeks, maybe, next month, to see if he is leaving or not. So, we'll know for sure, I think, once WrestleMania is over with, if he ends up losing to Reigns or something, if that match does happen. But yeah. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I'm still like in shock though.
With
Art Anderson.
That's right. So this news came out over the weekend.
Oh man, say it ain't so.
Why Art Anderson got fired? So apparently Vince and
He should have just held this in front of her and said, "Can you see how many I'm holding?"
You're holding up the 4 for our listeners there. But some news broke out that the reasoning for Arn Anderson's release from the company was because of a live event. Alicia Fox showed up to the arena intoxicated, and he allowed her to continue to wrestle in that match that he was producing. Apparently Vince McMahon got word of it and was not happy, and that was the last straw with Arn Anderson, and he was fired shortly after. Alicia Fox has not been on TV or has competed since, I believe, that show, or that was one of her last appearances. So it's interesting to see. I mean, she obviously has not been released. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of punishment or not.
I know. I think there was one article that says she was offered rehab, but she's been hiding.
Yeah, she has not been seen. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. An injury, and I put it in quotes because it was debunked by the superstar themselves. Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Radio, reported that Alexa Bliss was dealing with some sort of injury, but he doesn't know what the injury was. He's claiming that it was, but yeah, he was claiming that it was something. However, Alexa Bliss responded to a fan saying, this was what the fan tweeted. So apparently our goddess Alexa Bliss is injured again, but it's not known when she will be cleared. We miss you, come back early please. And she said, haha, I'm not, thanks so. Peace sign, black heart. So, yeah, Alexa Bliss she dealt with the concussion last fall, and I think she only wrestled 2 matches this year, at least on TV, so hopefully we get to see her in the ring really soon. Apparently she was taking bumps last week at the Performance Center, so.
I think it's something when they try to like reveal certain things on social media though, especially with Becky Lynch and Rousey.
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth between Lynch and Rousey. I can't say it on here because there was some language there, but
pretty much talking smack about her finisher.
Ronda Rousey calling Becky Lynch's finisher fake, which is the armbar or the disarm her, and then Becky getting a little personal, bringing in Rousey's husband in the mix, and one of the last tweets was Rousey saying, "I'm going against the script. And next time I see you, I'm going to kick your butt."
Wow.
And that's exactly what happened last night. We got to see a Ronda Rousey heel turn last night. And we're going to get into that in our Raw recap. I want to do SmackDown first because now that we're on Tuesdays, SmackDown happens on Tuesdays, Tuesday nights. So we're going to recap last week's episode. Before that, there was a scare over the weekend at a WWE live event. Asuka apparently landed like on her head yesterday. The good news is she did tweet out and say that she was fine and she apologized for scaring everyone. So that's just a little bit of a news just to get that out of the way there. But let's do a SmackDown recap of last week's SmackDown. Did you hear anything about it? No? Alright, so it's going to be new to you, I guess. The show opened up with Stephanie and Shane McMahon having a contract signing between Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. They kind of showed Kofi's highlights throughout his career, winning multiple championships. And before Kofi could sign the contract, Vince McMahon came out and said he wanted a box office match and a box office attraction. And he brought out the returning Kevin Owens. So it had been rumored for a number of weeks that Kevin Owens was set to face Daniel Bryan, or one of the names to face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. It looks like that match has been moved to Fastlane. Yeah, Kevin Owens, I guess he is a face now. Kind of came in looking like a face. He has a new finisher, which I'll get to in a bit, but yeah, he ultimately came in, signed the contract, and it is confirmed for this Sunday for the WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan will defend against Kevin Owens. The opening contest was The Bar, and it was supposed to be Cesaro taking on Johnny Gargano. Well, that was not the case. It ended up being a tag team match as Sheamus and Cesaro took on the returning Hardy Boys. That's right, Matt Hardy has returned. He is no longer Woken, but he is now the multifarious Matt Hardy, as he calls it. Meaning, if he needs to bring out any of his famous characters, he will do so at any given moment.
I think he just needs to become V1 and go to 205 for at least an episode.
Well, I don't think he's under that limit anymore, but he does look to be in amazing shape. He's able to move a lot quicker. The Hardy Boys reunited, and they got the victory over Sheamus and Cesaro. So they added some depth to the tag team division over there on SmackDown. Next up, we had a United States Championship match. R-Truth held a U.S. Open Challenge. He said he wanted to follow in his hero's footsteps, John Cena. So, that was it. Yeah, he said it was hilarious. He said ever since he was a little boy, he wanted to be like his hero, John Cena. which is hilarious because Truth is like 5 or 6 years older than Cena. So, Andrade came out, and then Rey Mysterio came out of nowhere and attacked Andrade. He like pushed him out of the way. It ended up being a triple threat match. It was a fun triple threat match, but ultimately Truth retained the United States Championship after a roll up on Mysterio, and it looks like Andrade and the Mysterio feud will continue on. Charlotte cut a lengthy promo, just kind of typical stuff on Ronda Rousey, saying that she was going to claim the Raw Women's Championship. So there was that. Another fun match between Ricochet and Aleister Black teaming up to take on the team of Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. They really need to do more with Shinsuke. I don't know, it's just disappointing that he's not being used fully, but I'm glad he was on TV this week. In a great match. He needs to feud with Aleister Black because those two just, that opening to that match, just, there was so much chemistry there between those two. Black and Ricochet won the match, and they are looking great as a tag team. AJ Styles cut a promo on kind of returning to glory. He talked about being, SmackDown being the house that he built, and then he was interrupted. Do you want to guess who he was interrupted by?
Who was interrupted?
AJ.
Oh, I don't know.
Take a guess.
The Miz?
No. One more guess. Who do you think?
Bobby Roode?
Bobby's on Raw.
Oh. I don't know.
It's all right. You don't have the cable to watch it. It's all good. Although that would be really cool to see. Rude and Styles.
Oh yeah.
But it was Randy Orton showed up, and he kind of had a stare down with AJ. So it looks like we'll be getting those two at Mania. It hasn't been confirmed or anything, but it looks like they're definitely leaning towards that feud, and that should be a really good match. Lacey Evans continued to show up and walk out down the ramp and then leave again, so that's kind of been her gimmick. In the main event, it was Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston taking on Rowan and Daniel Bryan. Kevin Owens won after hitting Daniel Bryan with a stunner. That's right, that seems to be his new finisher, I guess, at least for that one night. So, and he seems to be leaning towards more of a face in this role, maybe at least a tweener. So we'll have to wait and see. But after the announcement that Kevin Owens was replacing Kofi at Fastlane, a lot of speculation led to believe that Kofi will be getting his WWE title match at WrestleMania. Hashtag Kofi Mania. So hopefully that is the case. I know the New Day are currently in India right now doing promotion because they're having tryouts over there. So hopefully we'll see Kofi back next week or something. But it'll be really fun to see if that match does happen at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. Are we ready to take another break here?
Yeah.
All right, so when we return, we will talk about last night's Monday Night Raw episode. Bit lackluster, but it had some highlights, definitely. So we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Affordable, professional, and located on the second floor of the USU. Electric Hair has all of your nail and hair needs covered. For an appointment, call 562-958-4522. That's 562-958-4522.
Hello, what's going on, man? What are you doing every Monday and Friday from 12 to 1 p.m.? I know what you're doing. You're listening to the BPM Beats 1 Top 12 right here on 22 West Radio. I'm Charlie Sharp. Join me every Monday and Friday. It's 12 noon to 1 right here on 22 West Radio.
And we are back with Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And we are currently on you now with the hashtag.
Ask questions.
And you can find all our videos and episodes on YouTube. Just search up Beyond the Ropes or go to Rob Flores Media. You can follow us on Twitter at EthanNB95 and
Rob Flores Media.
and Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. You can always listen live here on 22westmedia.com every Tuesday at 2 p.m. So make sure to check us out there. Let's get into some Monday Night Raw results, shall we? So yesterday was a definite step down from last week. Both Raw and SmackDown were so good last week, like it was unbelievable. Unfortunately, Raw wasn't able to keep up the momentum. I don't know what happened last week I don't know, I just don't know. It just wasn't able to keep it up.
Bruce Pritchard didn't show up to work that week, that's why.
So apparently he is not there full time, I don't think.
Yeah. He didn't show up this week then.
Yeah,
He's only a
consultant. He's only been a consultant.
Yeah, they didn't ask him this week, they didn't call him.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Speaking of someone who is joining the creative team, or at least in a part-time position, Dana Warrior is officially, I mean, she was shadowing, so it's not been like a full-time position confirmed, but she is at least shadowing writers and stuff, so she could be a member of the Monday Night Raw roster, or writing team, excuse me, or SmackDown even. So that should be interesting if that happens. Obviously, Dana Warrior, the wife of the late Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, interesting news.
To give a female perspective, they say.
Yeah, they wanted to give more of a female perspective in the women's division. I believe there is a woman now lead writer for the women's division, so that's pretty big. It's good. That'll hopefully spice up the women's division. So the show opened up last night on Monday Night Raw with Roman Reigns telling Seth Rollins he wanted to reunite the Shield one last time. So again, they've been kind of running with the idea that Dean is definitely leaving. So it's still up in the air. I really don't know if they're using it as a storyline now or if it's actually happening. Who knows? Dean came out next, but ultimately was hit in the back with the guitar by Elias. So that led to them having a match later on in the night. The opening match was a 6-man tag team match between Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin, taking on Finn Balor, the Intercontinental Champion, Kurt Angle, and Braun Strowman. This was a decent match. I think part of what made last week's episode so good was that there was no multi-man tag team match. This episode of Raw started off with the 6-man tag match with competitors we see kind of go at it every week. So I felt a little bit repetitive. So I'm really looking forward to the shake-up happening in April after Mania, because I think they could really use it, especially Monday Night Raw. But it was a decent match. Leo Rush caused a distraction. Ultimately, Lashley hit Finn Balor with a spear to get the win. After the match, there was a post-match beatdown where they kind of powerbombed Finn on the steel steps. So they were asserting their dominance there for what would happen later on in the night. Quick women's match. Natalya defeated Ruby Riott with a roll-up. After the victory, Lacey Evans came out and kind of did her entrance, wave at the crowd, and then walked back. So there might be a little feud there with Natalya or something, because she interrupted her right away. We had the SNL Weekend Update hosts Michael Shea and Colin Jost were, I guess, special guests for Monday Night Raw yesterday. And they had an interesting segment. It was revealed that they would be coming back for WrestleMania to be correspondents. So definitely getting more into the mainstream media for WWE. They wandered around the arena. They ran into EC3. We found EC3 finally. He was still posing backstage in front of a mirror. Still not talking. He hasn't said a word on the main roster.
I want a good storyline where they bring Dixie Carter in and they have a whole EC3, push.
Well, apparently he was being buried or something. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. But he finally he was gone for a couple of weeks.
They have enough names now to go ahead and start like a TNA storyline.
They do. But I don't know if they would do that. Who knows? But yeah, that was interesting. Batista was not there last night either. He sent in a video via Instagram. If you follow him on Instagram, check out the video. I think WWE shared it. So he said he didn't want to go to Philadelphia because he doesn't like it. So he just made a video. Triple H cut a really good promo. This was a highlight for me. Triple H does really good promos when he's in a feud, especially leading up to WrestleMania. He cut a promo about Ric Flair, and he mentioned Ric Flair's real name, which is Richard Fleer. He mentioned how he was his best friend, how he had to watch him bury his own son. It got really personal and very deep. It was really cool. And he said it doesn't matter where Batista wants to fight. He said he'll go to that place. If he wants to meet him at his house, he'll do that. If he wants to meet him at a movie set, he'll do that. So we're going to get a WrestleMania match. It has not been confirmed, but we can expect that. Next week they will have a face-to-face in Pittsburgh, so that has been confirmed. So I'm sure we'll get our official announcement next Monday on Raw.
If it's Pittsburgh, they've got to do something good with Kurt Angle fan.
Yeah, I mean they were in Philadelphia this week, so that's a kind of a big town right there. So it was officially announced that Tori Wilson was going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Obviously, they had a video package. Backstage, Stephanie McMahon announced that Becky Lynch, her suspension was lifted, and that Lynch would face Charlotte for the, at the time, vacant Raw Women's Championship. Because if you remember last week, Ronda Rousey left the title in the middle of the ring unless Becky Lynch was brought back. So Stephanie was under the assumption that that title was vacated. So we got a gauntlet match featuring Heavy Machinery, the B Team, The Ascension, and Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
Did the B Team win?
No, thankfully.
Oh, then no. See, that's why they didn't have as good ratings then.
No. Heavy Machinery won. They defeated all three teams, and it was great. No, they're great. Out of all the NXT call-ups of like the previous, not including Aleister Black and Ricochet, Heavy Machinery seems to be the most consistent, appearing on TV and actually being used properly.
Okay, I get confused with War Raiders.
War Raiders are like the Vikings. They're in NXT still. They're the
They
NXT
could
tag.
do something with Bray.
That would be interesting. That would be an interesting. Yeah, where's Bray? Like they need to bring
He's
him back.
following the buzzards.
Yeah, apparently. He needs to follow them back to the ring or something. But Heavy Machinery, they showed a video backstage of those three tag teams kind of making fun of Heavy Machinery. And then Otis, one member of Heavy Machinery, apparently was not happy. He said they hurt his feelings. And so he made them pay, ultimately. And they defeated all three teams in that gauntlet match. So, and they seem to be very popular. The fans seem to be behind them, so that's good news for them.
I feel like the B Team, they just need to do something with Matt Hardy so that the leg could be used to save their career.
That's a good idea. Let
Let them think they're their dads.
Oh, that would be interesting. A Mr. Perfect and an IRS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they need. Yeah, they could do so much more with all those teams actually. So, singles match between Elias and Dean Ambrose. So throughout the night, Roman and Seth tried to talk to Ambrose to try and get him to join them and rebuild the Shield. And Dean Ambrose wasn't having any of it. He was just trying to prepare for his match. So they had the match, and he lost to Elias with the drift away. And after the match, Roman and Seth came back out and again tried to talk some sense into Ambrose. Ambrose started walking up the ramp, not up the ramp, up the audience in the crowd. And then Lashley, Baron Corbin, and Drew McIntyre came up and attacked Reigns and Rollins, ultimately leading to Ambrose coming to make the save and ultimately reuniting with the Shield pose. This Sunday at Fastlane, we will get the reunited Shield, possibly for the last time, taking on Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley in a 6-man tag team match. In the singles match, Tamina took on Sasha Banks. Decent match. After distractions from Nia Jax and Bayley, Tamina won with a super kick to Sasha Banks. So a good victory for Tamina. I guess this was kind of like the semi-main event match for the Raw Tag Team Championships. The Revival defended against Aleister Black and Ricochet after Black and Ricochet defeated the Revival last week. They got their match. Solid match, however, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable came out and attacked the Revival, getting them the victory by disqualification. They then had a confrontation with Ricochet and Black, ultimately leading to Ricochet and Aleister Black standing tall in the ring, and they did a cool superhero pose kind of in the middle of the ring. I don't know if you saw that. I'll show it to you after the show, but it was really cool. Really cool gif of them doing that. To close the show, Stephanie McMahon brought out Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch to the ring to sign so Becky could sign a hold harmless agreement because she was not fully cleared yet. Ronda Rousey showed up and she said she never vacated the title and that she wanted Stephanie to give it back to her. Stephanie did. So Stephanie changed the match at Fastlane, saying that if Lynch beats Charlotte, then she will be added to the Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. If she loses, she won't get her shot there. Rousey then cut a promo, saying, I've been trying to entertain all you people, and all you do is cheer for Becky and you boo me and all that. So she said, screw the woo and something, or screw the man or something like that. And she started attacking both Charlotte and Becky Lynch. And Charlotte kind of stayed out of the ring while Rousey was putting Lynch in an armbar and continuously beating her up. There's a video after the show that kind of continued with that brawl where Rousey was saying, you should tweet about this and tweet about that, which is hilarious. But it's official. We've got a Ronda Rousey heel turn. So I think it's good. I think she'll do well if she sticks around past WrestleMania.
That could only mean the 4 horsewomen.
That's right. She's now in line with her fellow 4 horsewomen as heels. They're all heels in NXT, so maybe we'll see something at Mania. Who knows? We got a few minutes left.
Did you hear about the changes in the Hall of Fame, possibly?
Yeah, so they might not have any inductors this year.
Oh, man.
Which I think is a bummer. I think they should just have a smaller class.
They could just keep it all on the network. Yeah, if they want to not have inductors, they could just edit and just have them the speeches of the inductees in the televised one, but...
Well, I think what it is that WrestleMania is the next night, so if the inductors get time, regardless if it's on the network or not, the superstars still have to get ready for Mania, and so they got to leave early. So I think that's the main issue, is that the wrestlers don't want to be there for like 6 or 7 hours when they have to go to work the next night. So it has nothing to do with like the actual TV or network time. It has to do with, cutting the show down so that everyone can, focus for the next night. So, but I agree. I think they should they should keep the inductors in there. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess. And then on the night of, with a few minutes left, we have to give our Fastlane predictions. This Sunday is the WWE Network pay-per-view Fastlane, the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania, and got a decent card. For the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Usos take on The Miz and Shane McMahon.
Shane.
You got Shane and Miz
Yeah.
winning? I've got the Usos retaining.
It's because then they can have one more match at Mania. It'll give Shane a reason to have to go ahead and be at Mania.
It's
Otherwise,
gonna-
he's got no reason to.
It's going to be Miz and Shane at Mania.
Oh, winning it at Mania?
No, it's going to be them against each other.
Oh.
Miz is going to be unhappy, or he's going to turn on Shane or something. Yeah, no, the Usos are going to win.
I feel like at this point, Shane's had a losing track record at Mania. If it's just Miz, I don't see Miz winning that.
Yeah, Shane would end up winning probably. So who knows? For the SmackDown Women's Championship, Asuka versus Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose.
As much as I would like to see that happen, it would be a mistake for Asuka to lose. So I've got to go with Asuka. Mandy, she and Sonya could go after those tag team titles down the line. So, speaking of the tag team titles, the women's tag team championships will be on the line as the Boss and Hug Connection, Bayley and Sasha Banks, defend against Nia Jax and Tamina.
Oh, it's going to Nia and Tamina now.
No, it's Bayley and Sasha are going to retain.
Oh.
I'm glad how we're all.
I mean, they can have a hug at the end, you know.
They're retaining. They're not losing those titles. No. Next up, for the WWE Championship, Daniel Bryan defends against Kevin Owens.
I don't see. Okay. Yeah, Daniel's going to keep it.
Yeah, he's keeping it. I agree with you on that one. The Shield versus Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley.
Lashley's team. Something's going to happen that's going to lead to Mania within the Shield, probably.
It's going to be Dean versus Roman at Mania. Dean's going to cost him or something, or Shield's going to lose. That's, yeah, I agree. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. If Lynch wins, she will be added to the Mania match.
Oh, yeah, they got to add then.
Yeah, Becky Lynch has to win. So, there we go. Fastlane is this Sunday. SmackDown is tonight. And we will discuss more about it next week when we return on Beyond the Ropes. Once we are currently tapping out. Once again, I am Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And this has been another episode of Beyond the Ropes. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. This episode has been too sweet.